Welcome to today's edition of the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win, including our in-studio guest today, Miss Whitney Gallaway. She has gone from being in corporate to a stay-at-home mom to making a tremendous impact along the Grand Strand through her association with the John Maxwell team and as being a part of the John Maxwell team. You're going to absolutely fall in love with Whitney today, and as you listen to her story and you listen to all the way to the end where we talk about the event that's coming up here called Live2Lead, you're going to really see how when you tap into your passion, you too can have a huge impact on your community. So enjoy this conversation with Whitney. And as always, leave us a comment and let us know, how did this interview inspire you? Welcome back to another edition of the Wynn Show, where everybody comes to win. It is our sincere hope that when you view our episodes, that you recognize in yourself that if the guest here, Whitney is with us today, can do what she's doing, then you too can heed the call that's on your life to make a huge impact in your community. So we welcome to the studio today, Whitney Gallaway. Whitney, if you would, just tell folks a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you for having me today, by the way.
Absolutely.
Very excited to be on the Wynn Show. I am Whitney Gallaway. I am the mother of two children. I have Colt, who is 14, and I have Jordan, who just turned 12 this week. We are also in the ministry. We have a college and career ministry, and so we do ages 18 to 30. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm also a John Maxwell team member.
Fantastic. So listen, if you didn't think that life right there, like that was enough, we're going to dig in today and we're going to talk about what does it mean to be a John Maxwell team member. And part of what that means is this program that we want to talk about today, which is called Live2Lead. So you're a stay-at-home mom, and God bless her, her children are moving in. Colt is already in the teen years, and Jordan is right behind, coming into the teen years. So anybody who's watching with children absolutely knows what that animal looks like. So already we're like, woo, we're in awe of that, okay? But the really cool thing is that through your membership with the John Maxwell team, you have stepped into bringing Live2Lead to the Myrtle Beach and actually the Grand Strand community. And so as we want our viewers to see and say, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom too, or I'm whatever I am, I've got two kids, as they relate to you, but let's talk about this impact that you're getting, that you make through Live2Lead, because I want them to say, oh, I identify with Whitney, and I can too. I can too in my own community. So let's first start with John Maxwell. Like, why John Maxwell? What does that mean to be part of his team? Because some folks won't know what that means. So what does that even mean?
Right, absolutely. So John Maxwell is one of the top leadership gurus in the world. He has about 20,000 members now that are part of the John Maxwell team. Basically what that means is we're certified to teach, coach, to do public speaking, that type of thing, with all of his curriculum and material, and to just kind of have that backing and the influence of John Maxwell as we go out and try to help develop other people. So that's what the John Maxwell team is, and I'm super excited to be a part of that. You mentioned when you started kind of talking about me that I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I really want to appeal to those stay-at-home moms, because here's the thing about me that has just been the biggest journey was I was very active in the corporate world before I was married, before I had children, working my way up through the ranks, and met this really, really handsome, cute, lovable preacher, and I'm like, Lord, what are you doing with that? But he called me to step away from my career. He called me to move to South Carolina and to be a mom. And to be honest with you, because I was so corporate driven, I didn't know that I really could be a mom.
Wow.
Yeah. And so here you are, married. We've been married 2 years, almost 3 years. And one day I woke up with this desire just to be a mom. Came out of nowhere per se. And I'm like, I have no idea how to be a mom, but I wanted to so badly. Lord blessed us with Colt. And honestly, it's been the best decision that I ever made. I love being a mom. Didn't have a clue how to do it. So if you're out there and you're a new mom and you're like, I do not know what I am doing, it's going to be okay. I promise it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I just really, said, you've brought me to this. Show me how to do it. Make me the best mom that I can possibly be. And he's done that. Now, that meant that I stayed home with my kids. That might not be what it looks like for everybody because, in today's world, sometimes it takes two incomes. And so for those moms who are not stay-at-home moms, I want to encourage you as well. You can be the best mom whether you work or you stay at home. It's all about the heart and how you just rely on the Lord to be all that he's called you to be. So,
and let me just stop you for a second because I think what you said about you're doing the corporate thing and you were very into that work,
right?
And had no, married, number one, that was a big whatever, right? But he was handsome, so you jumped on,
yes.
And then that children nowhere in the picture, and then they were,
yes.
And so really leaning into that calling to be a mom was outside of what you had in the plan.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I think that's big for our people to understand that very often what we think is the way, God will step in and say, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
And the more in your situation was, it's children for you.
Right.
And you are an amazing mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whether you'd stayed in the job or not, you have the makings because he delivered that to you, right? To be an amazing mom. So I just wanted to kind of pause there and say to folks, listen, sometimes what we think is the way to do it, it's not how it's going to happen. He's got other plans for us.
Right.
So here you are now, or
yes.
At that point you had Colt.
Right.
Okay. And ta-da! Motherhood.
Yes.
And so when you had him, did you left your corporate job?
I did.
Okay.
I did. When I married Justin, that's my husband, we were in North Alabama.
Okay.
And so we relocated to South Carolina because he was finishing up Bible college and all of that. So, so that literally meant for me to lay down everything that who I am, who I was.
Wow.
And, that can be very scary because you spent all of these years and all of your time and talent and pouring everything that you have into being corporate. And, praise the Lord, I was successful in the industry that I was in. But yeah, it was, very scary at first to say, okay, new chapter. Let's lay this down and let's go see what the next chapter has. But okay. I don't regret it. Oh my goodness, I don't regret it. It was the most beautiful transition.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I love being a mom.
Yeah,
I do.
Your face lights up when you say that.
I do.
So here you are, Mom. Okay, but you have some awareness of John Maxwell.
Yes.
So where did that come from for you?
Okay, good question. Good question. When I came out of high school, I knew I wanted to get a college degree. But like most students, they know they want to go to college, but they're not exactly sure what they want to be when they grow up. Yeah. I did not have a clue. So I did 2 years of college and then decided because I couldn't declare a major, there was no sense in spending money and choosing one that, I might not want to pursue. You know? And if you don't know who you are, you don't know what degree to get. So I went into
good advice.
Give it time. You'll discover what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I decided that I would go to work. And I had a few part-time jobs here and there, but I ventured out one day. Back then you looked at the newspaper and, the classifieds. I'm showing my age here totally. But I had circled a few that I wanted to go in and fill out an application for, and I got lost. I was so frustrated and defeated because the one that I really wanted to go to was a clerical position, and I got lost, couldn't figure out where it was. But I drove by a hotel and I remembered, oh, wait a minute, they had an ad. So I pulled over, get my newspaper out, and I'm looking for it and I find it and I'm like, oh, yes, okay, I'm not going home defeated. I set out on a goal today. I'm going to at least put in one application today. So get out of my car, go into the hotel, and I go up to the counter and I said, I'd like to fill out an application. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. we're out of applications. Here's a notebook.
Oh, okay. Not the end.
No, here's a notebook. Just go ahead and fill it out like you would an application. And I said, oh, thank you so much. I will be glad to do that. And I go over to a seat, and the truth was I had never filled out an application before.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sitting there with a blank piece of paper with a goal in mind that I refuse to be defeated. I refuse to walk out of here not having accomplished my set goal. So I thought, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to fill this out. So I wrote my name, I wrote my address, and then I thought, well, there's information on my driver's license. That's probably important. So I wrote my height, I wrote my weight.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm so telling on myself, but I hope this encourages somebody. I wrote my eye color, and then I'm like, okay, well, I helped out, as a teacher's aide in high school. I should write about that. So I wrote about that. 30 or 40 minutes passes, and I'm still sitting there with this notebook, and that's all that I have on there. Height, weight, eye color.
Oh my goodness.
And that I was a student teacher. And the manager came over, and she says, is everything okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. And she was like, well, what's wrong? And I was like, I've never filled out an application before.
Wow.
And she was instantly, concerned and so sorry that had happened to me. But she said, well, let's just sit down and talk. Tell me about yourself. Who is Whitney? So it's funny that you asked me that question today.
The question everybody wants to
know.
Who are
you? Yeah.
The hardest question to answer in the world.
Exactly. So I looked at her and I told her who I was. I told her, that I have this many siblings, that this is what I set out to do today, is I wanted to fill out an application. And I had gotten lost. It was a disaster of a day. I felt so defeated, but I refused to walk out of here without accomplishing something. And she says, what is one thing that you want me to know about you? If you could narrow it down to one thing. And I said, if you'll hire me, you'll never be sorry.
Wow.
And she says, okay. She said, appreciate you coming in. We'll give you a call if we're interested, and have a nice day. And I said, thank you, shook her hand, and went out the door and went to the car and cried. And just cried because I knew that I was going to be going home to an older brother who, you know how older brothers are. They can be can be a blessing. But I knew when I walked in the door, he was going to go, so how'd that go? And I'm like, ugh. So I go home, and he meets me at the door, and he was like, how'd that go? And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. Oh. I just don't want to talk about it. So about 15 minutes later, the phone rings, and my brother answers the phone, and he comes to my room, and he says, hey, there's a job on the phone for you. And I was like, you were so mean. You are so bad.
You don't even believe it,
No. I'm like, I am not going to that phone. You're crazy. Is that your friend? Who is that? And so he's like, I'm not joking. Go to the phone. So I go to the phone, and I'm like, yeah, who is this?
Oh, my goodness.
It's the manager from the hotel. And she says, is this Whitney? And I'm like, yes, ma'am, it is. I'm so sorry. My brother, never mind. It's okay. Yes, ma'am, what can I do for you? She said, can you start tomorrow?
Wow.
So there's the story of how I got started in the industry. But as I went through the first couple of years in the job, my dad gave me some of the best advice. He said, always be versatile. If you have an opportunity to go to a different position, whether it pays more or not, you need the experience. So I had worked
advice.
as
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I had done guest services, I had done hostess, I had done accounting, but this particular day, I was mowing the front yard at the hotel.
Okay.
And it was about a 10-foot ditch down and 10 feet up. You asked me, Whitney, why were you mowing? And it was because they needed the yard mowed and I needed the money.
Okay.
So I asked them, please let me do the mowing. And they're like, okay, we'll give this a try. But as I went down in the ditch and came back up in 100-degree weather, I seriously questioned, Whitney, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
This is crazy. But the owner of the hotel properties drove by and noticed this, young little thing trying to push this mower out of a 10-foot ditch. And he comes into the hotel and he's like, "Who's that? I want to know her story. Why is she mowing the yard?" And so they told him. The next week he comes in and he says, "Tell me more about you." And I said, "Sir," he said, "Why were you mowing?" I said, "Because, that was something that I could do. And I wanted to do it. I needed the money." And he said, "If you're willing to work that hard, if you're willing to step out of your normal comfort zone and do that, then I want to introduce you to somebody." And it was John Maxwell.
Wow.
It was John Maxwell. This owner had built his business off of John Maxwell material and thought processes, and he was super successful. And so what he did that day was recognized potential. He recognized someone who he could pour into, that he could introduce to John Maxwell, per se in the books and recordings and things like that. And so that was the day that my career took off. He put me on a track of success, and I basically teethed on John Maxwell material as I became a manager and moved up in the ranks of the business.
So I love that on so many levels. There's need.
Yes.
You had a need.
Absolutely.
You had a financial need, and our needs drive us so often. You had a willingness.
Right.
I'll do whatever.
Right.
And you saw opportunity. This grass needs to be mowed, and it's not getting done. And
right.
So that's opportunity. Opportunity, in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about opportunity but most often, not opportunity, but yes, opportunity, sorry, got lost. Opportunity shows up as work.
Right.
Right? So success, riches, all of those things kind of come in the back door and they look like work. Right. But it was really opportunity. Had you not, the need was there, your willingness was there, and you saw opportunity, you were open to that and said, "I'll go mow the grass."
Right.
Okay. Then you showing up, the rest of it happens, right? He drives by, who is this? I want to know. But all of the things you displayed, that's what folks are looking to pour into.
Right.
That's the model. If you're wondering, if you're sitting in your job and you're thinking, "Oh, there's no way for me to advance. How will I ever move up? There's nothing," and your attitude is that of, "I got to wait for somebody to die before I can take the next spot," right? Right. Don't do that.
Right.
There's opportunity everywhere. They show up as work, but if you do them, things happen.
Absolutely.
So he introduces you to John Maxwell.
Yes.
You're learning these principles, and you're seeing him modeling that life for you.
Right.
And his success by following these leadership principles, success principles, communication. John's got it all going on, right? Okay. So fast forward us a little bit. Okay. You got this in your young period, and that's what really catapulted your career in the corporate world. Fast forward us to now you're home. You've laid all that down, your mom, and how does the opportunity to join the John Maxwell team even show up in your life?
Oh, good question.
Where were you that opportunity came about?
Good question, because that transition was kind of extreme because it was super corporate driven, all about me, to lay that down and become mom when you're all about everybody else. To be the wife and the stay-at-home mom, and my desire was to meet everybody else's needs. But I discovered that the John Maxwell part of me was still there. And I wanted to contribute. I wanted to help other people to learn and grow and develop. And just because I was a stay-at-home mom didn't mean that had to stop. I have 2 children that I can pour John Maxwell theory and leadership and how to value people and how people are the most important thing, not only in a job, but also in life. Just life in general. I could pour into my kids, and I did do that. I am doing that, but I wanted a little bit more, and wondered, how can I do that when I'm a stay-at-home mom and my first ministry, my first priority are my babies, But I also have that corporate JMT Whitney on the other side that was yearning to have a resource, something to be able to contribute to my community and to others. And I literally was on Facebook one day, that Facebook, boop, 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 and I came across an advertisement that said, join the John Maxwell team. And I was like, oh, what is that?
Wow.
What is that? Okay, let me click on that. And immediately, I'll be honest with you, the insecurities roared. And I mean completely roared, because there's such a difference in serving yourself and serving others that the enemy tried to tell me that I no longer had what it took to be able to do something like join the John Maxwell team. And so I sat there thinking, yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Whitney, seriously? You have to believe in yourself. That part of you is still there. It still has a purpose. The Lord will use that. It's just a season that you're in, and the next season may involve John Maxwell and people outside of my home that I can invest in. So I scared, but did it.
I love it.
If you're scared, do it scared. Made the phone call and talked to the representative, and I told her, I was like, blah, 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 blah. I was talking 100 miles an hour because I was so nervous. But I told her my story, and she said the most wonderful thing to me. She said, because you're a mom, and because you have the corporate background, because you have a heart for others and you want to see other people grow and develop, she said, you're what we call John Maxwell DNA.
Wow.
You fit.
She saw that in you.
She did. And so that was the second time that I can say, when I couldn't see my potential, when I couldn't see who I am and who I truly can be.
Yeah.
The owner of the hotel saw it, and she recognized it as well.
Wow.
So
people are so important now. They come into our lives.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
So you joined the team.
Yes.
And now, because that was in 2015.
Right.
So it's 4 years later. And for 3 of those 4 years, you've been putting on this community event to bring John Maxwell to the Grand Strand called Live2Lead.
Right.
So, stay-at-home mom still.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is a really amazing event. So I want you to tell our folks a little bit about the event, just kind of the overview of what it is, right?
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about passion and purpose and that kind of thing. But just so they know, like, what's Live2Lead?
Okay.
What is it even?
All right, absolutely. Live2Lead is a half-day event, and basically it happens in Atlanta. It's an annual event. John's been doing this for about 5 years. He brings in top speakers from around the world, and they have their time in Atlanta, and because we're part of the John Maxwell team, we have the ability to bring this event in to our community via simulcast.
Sweet.
And so people don't
way of the world, simulcast.
Simulcast. So while they're enjoying it in Atlanta, people in our community can enjoy it at the same time. You don't have to drive to Atlanta. You don't have to track it and try to, get hotel reservations and things like that. We bring it to you. So same experience, just a lot easier.
Yeah.
But in the past, he's had, every year the speakers just get better and better and better. But we've had people like Simon Sinek. We've had Carly Fiorina, Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
We've had Tyler Perry, and this year is no different. We have.
Tell us who's this year.
I'm very excited about this year.
Woo, here they are.
The very first person that comes to mind is Rachel Hollis, and if you don't know who Rachel Hollis is, hit the Google and
Girl, wash your face.
Girl, wash your face and stop apologizing.
Yes.
And basically, she is considered the Tony Robbins for women.
Oh.
She is a powerhouse. She inspires women to be and do all that they can be. And if you feel like you can't, she's going to let you know you can.
Wow.
Without a doubt. You are going to walk away going, I can, I am, I will, I'm going to. So she's
on it.
On it. She's just, I mean, she's tremendous. She's a powerhouse. But then we also have Chris Hogan, who is with the Ramsey team as well. He's going to be talking about wealth management, retirement, that kind of thing. So that's another aspect.
He has a new book out, I think, this year, right?
I think so.
Came out this year. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not familiar with that one, but I need to go get that one because
it's
anything he does is amazing.
It's good. It's all good.
So then we also have Angela Arendts. And she was with Apple. She's the one that really brought Apple into the new generation that they are in right now. So she's absolutely incredible. Another woman that can bring lots of influence and power into your life. And then we have Marcus Buckingham. And Marcus, to be honest, that was the speaker that I wasn't really familiar with. But as I'm going out and talking to people, they're like, oh, Marcus Buckingham, are you kidding me? I've watched this and I've watched that and I've talked to them and this person knows him. And I was like, oh, wow, I need to research him. That's not one that I had tapped into, but looking at his material, he's tremendous.
Yeah, I think I've read somewhere he's like the most interesting geek you'll ever listen to or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm down for that, I'm down for interesting geek. That always works for me. So, so it sounds like a phenomenal lineup.
Yeah.
So along the Grand Strand, people are able to come and so simulcast. They watch it on a big screen, right? And some side screens, I think, as well. It's much like some of our local churches do, where they have one section and then they simulcast the services out around the state and that kind of thing. But for the John Maxwell team, they do it in Atlanta, and this is worldwide, actually, right? So do you know how many sites across the world there are?
The last I heard, there were 30-something different countries that this is being simulcast in. So I'm not sure about locations. There's a ton of locations in the United States, but I know we're in at least 30 different countries.
Okay, so it's truly a worldwide event. There's a lot of energy in that. And when the folks come to the local event, they're watching and they're hearing these amazing world-class speakers. And what's the experience like for them? So they're watching it on a simulcast. I just kind of want you to paint a picture for people. So if they're not familiar with that kind of thing, here you are watching, listening, being empowered by world-class speakers. And what's going on around you? We do the event at Ground Zero here in Myrtle Beach. And so if you're not familiar with their facility, it used to be an older theater that has been renovated for use in helping with teens. They're a great ministry. Research them too if you haven't researched them. But in the facility, we will set up round top tables. So you're not in rows or in just individual seats. We want to create the family feel. So if someone wants to bring their full team, they can do that. They have their own table. If you're coming as an individual, it is perfectly fine, because what a great opportunity to network. So everybody's at round top tables. It's really decorated very nice. We do white tablecloths. So it's an upscale event. We make sure that the stage is, really beautifully designed. And so when you walk in, you're going to go, oh, wow, this is nice. At least I hope you do. That's my heart. You're going to come in and you're going to be like, oh, wow, this, I'm comfortable here. And then what happens is we'll do some introductions of the team, and then we'll do the countdown, and then the event starts. So as the speakers are speaking, you, of course, are listening and taking notes and digging those nuggets out of what they're saying and how it applies to me. But then we'll also have opportunities for you to talk with your fellow table mates. Share those insights, and then also at the end of it, we'll be doing lunch
for everyone. So then you have an opportunity to network with other people who are at the event from your community. So you can get to know some other business people, some individuals, make new friends. So really comfortable, friendly environment.
I love that. It sounds like even though it's on a simulcast, the event, the way that you have it set up with the tables and the rounds, and it sounds like you're at the event, because very often when you go to something like a Maxwell, right, you're going to be seated way back here, and there's going to be the speakers, and you're watching them from afar and listening and that kind of thing. Or if depending on where they host it, sometimes there's a big screen behind the speaker so that everybody in the room can actually see what the speaker's doing. So it sounds like in this event, because of the tables of 8, the networking opportunities, and you're really there. I mean, you're having the full event experience, because if you go to Atlanta, you're probably watching on the screen anyway, so you can really see it up close. So that's really cool. So you've been doing this now for 3 years in the Grand Strand, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it's coming up again soon? Okay, what's the date on that?
Yes, it's coming up October the 11th, which is on a Friday.
Okay.
The doors will open at 8. The event starts at 9.
Okay.
It should conclude about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And then we'll have that networking lunch that we're talking about. So done about 2 o'clock.
Okay. So that's really great. And because we don't have to run out, we can stay and eat and then talk with other people who are there.
Right. We want you to.
Yeah. Okay,
we want you to stay.
The late stayers are a good thing. And so you mentioned if we wanted to bring our team with us. So what would that look like as far as, if I worked in an office and, I'm bringing them because, why am I bringing my team with me?
Right.
What is that?
Yeah. We have a lot of different situations come up. We have a lot of HR professionals come, and so they bring their whole HR team. Because they're the ones that are in charge of the team building and development of most of the organizations, and so it's a great HR opportunity. But we also have companies that send their top management, because once again, leadership starts at the top and trickles down all the way through. So some companies like to send their top management, but then we also have one of our local schools that we sponsor, and
cool.
Coastal Leadership Academy here in Myrtle Beach. They are our special guest every year, and the students are selected, so they're from 9th grade to 12th grade, and they have the opportunity to come in. Most of them have never been to an event like this. They have no idea what they're in for, but when they walk away, they have been poured into, and so that's the leaders of today, but are leaders of tomorrow as well. So, we have all different situations, but everybody walks away having been filled with wonderful nuggets, empowerment, leadership development, that kind of thing. So I talked with someone just the other day that was interested in coming, and he said, I may bring 2 or 3 of my team members, and he said, so maybe 4 seats. And I said, who are the people that you really, really want to build a relationship with? Because those people, invite them. Bring them, and so that you grow together. They know that you're not just wanting something from them, you're wanting to give them something. John Maxwell says that if you help other people get what they need, they'll help you get what you need. And so there's that two-way street of not just, this is what I need from you, but this you're important to me, and I want to give this to you.
Wow.
So,
That's a
great opportunity.
The law of reciprocity comes into play here, I'm feeling like, because when you give, people feel you don't say it, but they just feel like they want to give back to you. So if I really value you as a person, as my client, I bring you to this. We have a great experience, obviously, white tablecloths and the whole business casual, I'm guessing.
It is.
But the setup is really nice. It's classy. You are hearing world-known speakers.
Yes.
So I'm really pouring it. So then how could you not continue to do business with me?
Absolutely.
You see, wow, okay.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that's really good, Whitney.
Yeah, great opportunity.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So last question as we begin to kind of wrap this up right here. Well, I've got kind of two questions.
Okay.
One's strategic and the other one is kind of the purpose, passion.
Okay.
So you're part of John Maxwell. You cut your teeth on him early in your career, which really helped you to soar.
Right.
You have been doing this event for 3 years. Like, what was it that made you say, because not every John Maxwell person does live to lead.
Right.
What was it that spoke to you and you said, I want this in my community?
Right.
What's the passion? Or
yeah.
what lit you? Because I can imagine doing an event where you're putting out white tablecloths and you're serving a lunch and you're running a simulcast.
Yes.
That's not an easy feat,
It's not.
right? So it's not like, I'm going to go buy donuts and take them to the police station today. I mean, that's awesome. Like, do that if that's what you're called to do. But this is like months and location and wanting partners, right? I'm sure you must have to go and try to get partnerships. And so if you're looking for an awesome opportunity, this is a partnership opportunity for businesses that want to be seen as cutting edge leaders in their community.
Right.
But so what for Whitney though? What's the passion? Like, this is why I have to bring this here.
That's a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked me that because it is a lot of work. It is months and months, and there's big details and little details and lots of phone calls and emails and looking for those companies that want to partner with us to bring this type of event to the area. And to be honest, our goal is to become the premier leadership event in Myrtle Beach. We are going to continue to do this every single year. Every single year, we're going to get bigger and better. And of course, we want as many people as we can get to be there because it's a wonderful experience. And I know you'll walk away having felt like you've had value added to you. But I'll be honest with you, the reason that I do it, the very reason why I do it is because that person who's out there who was Whitney at a young age, who thinks they might have some potential, but they don't know how to tap into it, and they don't know where do I start? How can I truly believe in myself at such a young age? That's the one. That's the one that I want to come so that I can pay it forward, just like the owner of the business did for me. He saw potential and he said, let me show you. Let me give you a guidebook. Let me introduce you to John Maxwell. If that's you, let me introduce you to John Maxwell. Wow. Let me introduce you. And then you may be sitting there and you're looking at me and you're like, but Whitney, I'm not young. I've been in my career for a very long time.
Yeah.
And things aren't going well. I see your face too. And I want you to come because I want you to know that maybe there's a change or a transition that might be coming down the pipe for you, but in that you will be very successful too. All of these faces that I envision in my mind, the young person, the business person, the stay-at-home mom who says, I still want something for me.
Yeah.
Come. I see your faces. I know your situation. I relate to it, and I want to have the opportunity to pour into you. Wow. Just to give me the honor to be able to pay it forward. I owe so much to the owner who saw someone who could do it but didn't know she could do it. And all it took is for him to say, you can do it.
Yeah.
I want to do that for them.
Wow.
So
I think I got to just kind of chime in to this piece. Your passion is palpable. Like I can feel that. And how you envision people of all different stations in life and wanting to pour into them and introducing them to John Maxwell.
Right. Yeah.
I can really feel that. And I think even as that person who maybe has had great success, company's great, it's running, you've had it 20 years, it's great, it's successful, it's doing. You never stop desiring the more.
Right.
And a greater impact.
Right.
And the reason that person came to my mind today is I was on the phone with somebody just like that before you and I got together. And I recognize even in reflecting on that conversation, that she is at the same place, very successful, like I said, company for 20 years, making a big impact. And yet we were on the phone because she says, but I need to do more. I want to do more.
Yeah.
There's a more life expression even in success. So every station in life, wow.
Absolutely.
There's that.
Even the most successful, when you stop growing, you start dying.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So even the most
truly a John Maxwell girl right here.
Even to the ones, yes, even to the ones that are most successful, there's two things I want to say to you. You stop growing, you start dying. The second thing I want to say to you is the owner who looked at me and saw potential was very successful. He was a self-made millionaire who was born a cotton grower's son who remembered laying in the field, hiding from his parents because he hated picking cotton. And he said, there has to be more to this. He knew that feeling. And then he worked hard and he invested in other people and paid it forward as he went along. And for those people who are successful, if you're in that spot, time to pay it forward. Wow. Time to look for those people that you can pour into and say, hey, you know what? You got this. Yeah. I believe in you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, strategic question is last. This is it as we wrap up.
Okay.
So tell us, Ground Zero is on what date? Live to Lead. Sorry.
Yes.
Live to Lead is on what date?
It's on Friday, October the 11th.
Okay. And we can get tickets going to...
Absolutely. You can go to our website. It's www.live2lead, and the number is the number 2. It's not written out. So LIVE 2 and then LEAD. MB for MyrtleBeach.com. So Live2Lead, MyrtleBeach.com.
Super. So tickets are on sale now.
Yes.
From now until
right up until the
last seat's sold, right? Okay.
Right
up until the date. But go ahead and grab your tickets now. You don't want to be late on this. So we'll see you October 11th at Ground Zero in Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
Tickets available on the website. And if your business, I'm going to make a plug for you because,
yes, thank you.
Hey, this is the deal. You've convinced me. So if your business wants to be part of the premier leadership event on the Grand Strand, then there's a contact form on your website as well. So we want you to be in contact with Whitney at the Live2Lead Myrtle Beach website. There's a contact form, and let her explain to you how your business can partner with such an amazing event that's going to really add value into our community.
Yes, thank you.
Wow,
I appreciate
Whitney,
that.
thank you for being here with us, sharing your story. And again, as we do at all of the Wynn shows, we hope that you as a viewer have seen something in Whitney. And if you haven't seen something in there that encourages you, you weren't watching, okay? But to see the different things in the stages of her life and to see yourself in that and know that you can make the difference that you want to make, that you've been called to make, step forward into that. Absolutely. We will see you at Live2Lead and next time on the Wynn Show.